want to make sure to thank Nathan. Is Nathan here today, Dee Dee?
I don't see him. Oh, is he?
Is he here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I just want to make sure,
Yep,
he hears all the
struggling to
good
get on
things. There we go, Nathan.
I'm here.
Nathan, it's, we talked about it last meeting, but I want to thank you for your leadership in the program. For the past 2 years, I know you got thrusted into that position from, the previous guy who, left after he was voted in. But now I'm back.
Remember.
So as the chair leading into the 2024 5310 application process, I want to thank everybody for their time for the next 2 years. So with that, we do have a couple of proxies that I will note during the roll call. I know we have, let's see, Tara from Pinal County, Lindsay from Tempe, and Stephanie Rangel from City of Phoenix. So now as we continue to meet virtually, roll call will be conducted for all introductions and all the action items. And with that, Dee Dee will now conduct the roll call.
Thank you, Chair. Members of the committee, if you are here, please respond with here. Tara Harmon, Pinal County.
Tara, are you on mute?
You need to unmute.
Tara?
I see you logged on. We will come back.
Yeah, we'll come back to
Let me move forward. Carolyn Ballard, Town of Florence.
Here.
Thank you. Vice Chair Calloway, City of Mesa.
Here.
Thank you. We do have Chair Dudley. Seth Dyson, City of Surprise.
Seth Dyson said that he will not be able to attend.
Thank you. Joan Freeman, City of Scottsdale. That she's logged in. Oh. Joan, I see that you're logged on.
John, we see you on mute, but we cannot hear you.
I will come back. Nancy Jackson, City of Chandler. Nancy Jackson.
You logged on. I didn't see her.
Yeah, I don't see her either. Stephanie Rangel, City of Phoenix.
Here.
Thank you. Lindsay Post, City of Tempe.
Here.
Thank you. To make it formal, Nathan Williams, Town of Gilbert.
I'm here.
Thank you. Philip Yelbis, City of Buckeye.
Here.
Thank you. Tom Young, Valley Metro. Tom Young, Valley Metro. I don't see that he's logged on. Okay. And Joan, are you able to unmute?
Yeah, John, if you were speaking.
Yeah, I see you're
we
unmuted.
can see you unmuted, but we cannot hear you. I think that she might be logging in again.
Okay. And Tara?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
I am here. I had some difficulties. I apologize.
Hey, Joan. And Tara Harmon?
I'm here.
That was her.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tara's here.
Yes.
We do have quorum.
All right. All right, well, thank you, everybody. Before we start, please remember to mute yourself when not speaking. And then more importantly, since this is live streamed and recorded, please, when making a comment, please identify yourself when you are speaking. And so with that, Dee Dee, we are going to move on to our first item, which is call to the audience, which is an opportunity was provided to the public to provide written comments to the committee on items that are not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of MAG or on items on the agenda, but not for action. Please note that the comments received for our agenda items posted for action will be read at the time the item is heard. Dee Dee, I think I know the answer, but have we received any comments?
Chair, members of the committee, we have not.
All right. With that, we will move then on to item number 3, which is the approval of the EPDT ad hoc committee meetings that we had on April 25th and April 25th and 26th. The meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look at the, I think it was 21 pages of minutes?
Enter your participant ID followed by pound. Otherwise, continue.
Does anybody have any changes to those minutes?
Meeting password followed by pound.
All
John,
right,
we
not
can hear
hearing
you
any
now.
humans. Have we received any comments from the public?
You are in the meeting now.
Chair,
It are 14
Chair, Vice Chair.
in the meeting. This meeting is being recorded. You
No, we
are
have not received any comments.
or unmuted.
Okay, now, with that, I'd like to call for a motion to approve the minutes. Who would like to approve the minutes?
This is Lindsay Post. I second that.
All right, Lindsay, you're the first. Do I have a second?
This is David Calloway. I'll second.
All right, we got a motion from Lindsay, a second from David. Any discussion from anybody? All right, hearing none. Dee Dee, please do a roll call. Please respond yay or nay.
Kara Harmon,
I will abstain since I was not present at the last meeting.
thank you. Carolyn Ballard,
Yay.
Chair Daly,
Yay.
Joan Freeman, Joan Freeman, we can come back to you. Nancy Jackson, Stephanie Rangel,
I'll abstain because I wasn't at that meeting.
thank you. Lindsay made the motion. Nathan Williams,
Aye.
thank you. Philip Yabis,
Aye.
thank you. Tom Young. Okay, the motion passes.
All right, thank you very much, Dee Dee. So we are going to move on to item number 4, which is the Human Services Transportation Staff Report. Now, this item is a new item to our agenda. And so while we have some members who have been part of this committee for a while, we do have some members who are pretty new to this program. So this item will provide us an opportunity to hear about all the exciting human services transportation regional coordination activities related to our program. So with that, Dee Dee, can you offer the report?
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. We greatly appreciate the time that you take in this evaluation process for the Section 5310 program. And we thought it would be beneficial for you to hear about the work that is going on for this program. For this year, we have held over 8 trainings and workshops on topics such as driver safety training, fleet management, preventive maintenance. We've held 16 sessions to this date. We've had over 200 participants who have participated in our trainings and workshops, and we still have a few more workshops to go to end out the year. We held 6 past trainings, and that is the passenger assistance, safety and securement training, certifying 46 drivers throughout the region. We also have developed a centralized and taking the lead from the city of Phoenix with their section 5310 general mailbox. We have a central email address for subregion mobility managers. We do get a lot of questions and asking for resources. So we developed this general email so that all of our regional mobility managers would be able to respond, and other mobility managers will know that that answer has been addressed. We are very thankful for the city of Phoenix. They are diligently working on the procurement issue of vehicles. We were invited to participate in the procurement and the topic of available vehicles for those agencies from the 2022 application process. There were some agencies that requested vehicles that we were not able to procure. We appreciate the City of Phoenix staff to be able to join in on those meetings and to get a behind the scenes look at all of the work that they do for this program. We've held 3 quarterly Transportation Ambassador Program meetings where we've had focus groups to talk about what are some of the issues they are seeing in the region. Past issues have been the catalytic converter. That was a big issue during the COVID shutdown. We developed a summary sheet with best practices that we were able to provide and list on our MAG website and offer that to our stakeholders. Most recently, one of the topics that we're looking at is hiring and retention of staff. At our last TAP meeting, we took a poll asking our participants if they were at capacity throughout the agency on staffing, and 80% of those participating and answers say they were not at capacity. They still had hiring open positions. Then we asked specifically for those agencies that have a transportation program if they were at capacity of drivers to provide those services, and 52% of those that responded saying they were not at capacity. So we are looking at this issue going into the next year. That will be a topic that our subregion mobility managers we will holding some focus groups to talk about hiring and retention for our nonprofit, not only our nonprofit agencies, but our human services transportation stakeholders throughout the region. I also have another update. I don't know if you've heard, but Sarah Allred, who is our 5310 contact at ADOT, is no longer, she made a career move. Our new representative is Aubrey Perry. Most of you might know her. She is formerly from the 531011 program staff at ADOT. And she will be our new ADOT contact for the 5310 program in the MAC rural planning area. And also another thing that we are taking on when we're talking about the hiring and retention issue, we heard feedback from our stakeholders that suggested that we do a driver survey to understand for those drivers that are staying on, you know, what were some of the elements of the job that encourage them to stay on. So we will be developing that survey and hopefully sending that out sometime next year. That concludes my updates. And this is for information.
Thank you,
Let
Dee
me
Dee.
know if you have any questions.
That was very enlightening. 88% not at a capacity for staffing. That is still a lot. And here we are, what, 2 years almost out of COVID, and we're still, you know, running into those staffing problems. So I guarantee that is something that is going to be coming back here in the future. But let's move on to item number 5, which is the review of the fiscal year 23, section 5310 program for the Phoenix Mesa urbanized area. So this agenda item will provide the committee an opportunity to review the previous application process that we had here in April. We really do like this feedback because this feedback is really kind of invaluable to MAG and Phoenix staff as we try to continue to improve and streamline our evaluation over the years. A lot of great comments we've had. Dee Dee, can you provide a review of the application process? And you'll also review, the committee comments as we go into the next application process. So, floor is yours, Dee Dee.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. Every year, we do take the opportunity to discuss the past evaluation process and review committee comments. Next slide. I just want to give a brief overview of the Section 5310 program. It is a federal capital awards program. The eligible applicants are private nonprofit organizations, public agencies where no private nonprofit organizations are available, and tribal governments. Eligible population are those consumers that are age 65 and older, and agencies serving persons with disability. The apportionment that we do receive, not less than 55% of the funds are to go to capital projects, with the remainder to other capital, less than 10% administrative fee. Thank you. Next slide. For our 2023 application process, we coordinated the application process for the Phoenix Mesa urbanized area, and that is the area located in the blue. It is anticipated, and it will be discussed further in the agenda, that this is due to change next year. In 2023, we had $5.4 million apportioned for the Phoenix Mesa urbanized area. And it was great that we did see this increase in apportionments because we did see an increase in the procurement of vehicles. As you know, we didn't have as many requests for vehicles, which accounts for the 55% of the apportionments, and we did we will have a carryover over $800,000. Normally, the contracts for those awarded in 2023 would go out in October. There has been some delays on the federal level, and if Stephanie, if you can step in and just provide some additional information regarding the contracts. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Chair and committee members. There was a delay in the actual application itself being submitted to FTA. So we are in the process of finalizing it and getting it submitted. And I believe all the agreements have been reviewed and should be being sent out as soon as the grant application is ready for award. And the system was down that is utilized was down, and it just opened back up yesterday or today. And so we should start getting going on that in the coming weeks. So we should be awarding the grant and getting the vehicles in place and ordered, and the subrecipients can start submitting reimbursements and so forth. So
thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie, for that update. And ADOT is also seeing this delay, so it is just not within our region. It is statewide. Next slide. In reviewing the application process from last year and reviewing the minutes and committee members' feedbacks and comments, we did have a whole lot of comments or feedback, but points for consideration was that to continue having the the committee meetings virtually that work well for all of our committee members, and also to have the agency interviews to be held virtually. This was a great use of their time. We had a good response for the virtual interviews, and at the same time for travel for a 15-minute interview for each agency. The next item was available vehicles. Last year, we had listed the passenger van in the application in hopes that it would become available. Unfortunately, we weren't able to procure that. Also in the application, we listed the minivan with ramp, but listed it has to be determined because we weren't sure if we would get a procurement by the time the application came out. During the proposal training and the one-on-one, MAG and Phoenix State advised agencies that these vehicles were most likely not to be available. And ADA also followed the same process. And speaking with Phoenix staff regarding the procurement of the vehicles, we know it was suggested that for the next process, we only list those vehicles that will be able to definitely procure. And those would be the 3 accessible vehicles. It would be the Cutaway, it would be the minivan with ramp, and it would be the Transit. The next item, it was, we've had a discussion, this has been a point of discussion on regional boundaries at our previous meeting. At the beginning of the year, we had Scott Wilkin from the Regional Unelected Division present on anticipated changes due to the 2020 census. And we are pleased that for the next agenda item, we will follow up with an update on where we are with the Phoenix West Goodyear
Avondale.
Goodyear
PWGA.
Yeah. Our PWGA.
Mhm.
In reviewing that, those were most of the comments that we received and the feedback. It has only taken us 10 short years of reviewing and refining to come to this process. So that concludes my presentation. This item is for information and discussion.
All right. Thank you very much, Dee Dee. Any comments from the committee on any of these points of consideration? All righty. Hearing none, we are going to move on to item number 6, which is also for information and discussion only. And it's the update on the designated recipient assignment for the West Phoenix Goodyear Avondale urban area. So this has been brought up, it was brought up at our previous meeting, and there was a request to have it an update on the agenda. So today we have Steph Stearns, who is our MAG transportation analyst, who will provide an update for us. And with that, Steph, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Dudley. Next slide, please. Thank you. So just like Chair Dudley said, this item is for information and discussion. And a quick overview of what today's presentation is. We'll talk about urban areas, what they are, why they matter, what the designated recipient is, why that matters, and then we'll conclude with what I think the committee's most interested in, with what the impacts to the committee will be with this. So next slide, please. Starting with urban areas, the map on the screen shows the urban areas in the MAG region. There's 3 urban areas. We have the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale urban area in blue, the Phoenix West Goodyear Avondale urban area in peach or tan, depending on your screen. And then we have the Maricopa urban area down south, which is in purple. Maricopa is actually new as of the 2020 census. Most important thing to understand about urban areas and why they are important, why they matter, is that they are census designated. So we don't get to decide at the local or regional level where an urban area is or isn't. That comes from above at the federal level. And also that urban areas determine the federal fund types and apportionment. So that's the amount of funding that we see in the region, as well as the types of funding that we see in the region. Well, what we will be focusing on specifically today is the Phoenix West Goodyear Avondale urban area in the Southwest Valley. Next slide, please. So for those of you who have been around for a few years, this may sound a little familiar. The area was previously known as the Avondale-Goodyear Urbanized Area and was renamed after the 2020 census. Again, this change came from the federal level, specifically the U.S. Census Bureau. And the 2020 census population for the area was just over 400,000. The reason the population is important is because 200,000 is the threshold or the cutoff point for determining whether an area is small or large. Prior to 2020, this had been a small area. The population was about 197,000. Now that the population's over 400, they are well into that large category. And then in urban areas, there is an eligible entity that does the grant administration. Depending on the size of that area, that is either called a direct or a designated recipient. Next slide, please. So shown on the screen here is a comparison of direct and designated recipients. Direct recipients here on the left represent areas under 200,000, so that's where we previously were, and only oversee 5307 funds. Next slide, please. So once an area exceeds the 200,000 population, you have what is called a designated recipient. There are additional fund types when you are over 200,000 population. So you see here 5307, 5310, 3739, with 5310 being the pertinent fund source to today's conversation. Next slide, please. Designated recipient responsibilities. So a designated recipient, or a DR for short, is an eligible public entity with the legal authority to apply for, receive, and dispense federal funds. You can think of the DR as filling an administrative role and overseeing things like grant administration, subrecipients, and ensuring federal compliance and that all of the rules are followed. Next slide, please. What this item is intended to do is just talk about City of Phoenix's updated role. When the area was a small area under 200,000, they were the direct recipient for the area. And then now that the area has grown in size, the role needs to be updated. And the reason we're going with the City of Phoenix is it makes sense. They have been serving as the designated recipient for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale area in our region since 1975. They already meet all the federal requirements, and this will allow us to expedite grant delivery. Next slide, please. Finally, why this matters, how it impacts the committee. The short answer is that there is very little impact. MAG will continue to partner with the City of Phoenix in the administration of 5310 funds and the application process. We intend to keep it as simple as possible. I won't give away too many details, as I know that this is next in the agenda item, and or this is the next agenda item. And the next slide, please. Chair Dudley, members of the committee, that concludes my presentation. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Steph. That was a wonderful presentation. Any comments from the committee on anything related to this agenda item? Steph, I know we were talking about, I know we're in the process of smoothing. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that worked? Because it looks a little jagged right now, but it's not always going to be that way.
Yes. Ezekias, can you go back about 5 slides? It would be the map of the region.
There we
right
go.
there. Perfect. All right. So you see the map on the screen. It's very patchy. There's holes in it. And then even the title up there, 2020 MAG Urban Area Boundaries Unsmoothed. So smoothing is a process that FHWA, Federal Highway Administration, allows, where you can kind of fill in the gaps so you don't have, you know, a section of I-10 or a section of the 303 as not included in an urban area. And why it matters is you can only spend federal funds in that urban area for that urban area. So we're able to smooth in, fill in the boundaries. It doesn't change the population. It doesn't change how much funding is allocated. It's really just where the funds can be spent. And that is something that ADOT is working on with FHWA and in partnership with MAG. Right now, actually, they are going through the smoothing process, taking comments on, does it make sense where we kind of fill in the boundaries, and where I think this committee or this area is really concerned about is if you look north of the Phoenix West Peach area, but then south of the blue Phoenix Mesa area, so kind of south of Surprise, north of Litchfield Park there on the map, is where that line is going to be drawn. This is something that ADOT is actively working on, like I said, and they are aiming to have this done in about mid-December before the year closes out. Does that answer your question, Mr. Chair?
Yes, it does. And that was a wonderful explanation.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Steph. All right, any other comments from the committee? All right, hearing or seeing no hands, we will move on to agenda item number 7, which is the overview of the 2024 Section 5310 application process. So Dee Dee will review the tentative 2024 committee schedule for us, and she will provide some information on any updates on any items for consideration for our evaluation process. This item is for information, discussion, and possible approval. So Dee Dee, the floor is yours.
Dear members of the committee, we appreciate your time and your expertise going into the 2024 Section 5310 evaluation process. Today, I will review the tentative 2024 committee schedule and provide an overview of any recommendations for the next evaluation process. Again, this item is for information, discussion, and action. Next slide. We have not received any major revisions to the grant program. We are continuing on in the same process that we did at the beginning of the year. We updated the schedule for you today. We will go through the approval of the application evaluation process in January. Again, that will be virtual, the same process as we did last year. We will do we'll release the application at the end of January and have the deadline for the application request at the end of February. So at that time, City of Phoenix and MAG, we do a 2-week internal review. And then in March, the committee will reconvene. We will distribute the applications and we will provide evaluation training to the committee on Wednesday, March the 13th. In April, on Tuesday and Wednesday is when we do our 2-day applicant interviews where we provide 15 minutes. We allot 15 minutes for each agency to present on their application, and it's also a time for the committee to ask any questions. Again, all of these events are done virtually. At the end of the second day is when the committee gets together and we develop the priority listing. We will rank and develop the priority listing that will move forward through the committee process. And as always, we will reconvene in November to do an overview of the previous year, of the previous application process. Next slide. So we are so thankful that Steph and Patrick were here today to provide an update on the section 5310 PWGA area. We had anticipated that we would be considering folding in and integrating this area into our regional process. It does affect the region, and we have been, the committee has been talking about how it would fit and other elements of bringing this process and the PWGA into the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale process. Ezekias and I have done some outreach at committee meetings such as the West Valley Human Services Alliance and a network of nonprofits in anticipation that we would enfold PWGA into our regional application process. We did do a analysis of possible applicants that would be eligible in the next year. And there were 2 agencies that are providing services in this area. And they are also these agencies are also current Section 5310 subrecipients in our region. They just expanded their services into the West Valley. In talking about integrating the PWGA into the application process, the committee has had past experience in including another funding pot into our evaluation process. And this occurred when we received CRISA and ARPA funds. We were able to interfold those applicants for the CRISA funding and include it into our same application process. With the update that STEP provide, we are looking to integrate the PWJ into our application review process. Are there any questions at this point?
Any questions, anyone? All right, nope, continue, Dee Dee.
Okay, thank you. Another update is MAG and the City of Phoenix staff provides post-award support to our subrecipients, including ensuring they are meeting compliance. After their compliance review, Phoenix provides a report card of items such as meeting grant requirements, reporting, vehicle maintenance, and regional participation efforts. The Phoenix compliance staff reached out to MAG staff, noting that we do not have an outline standard threshold for participation in our 5310 program. Currently, it is only documented as recommended to attend TTAP meetings with the provider inventory. MAG staff, Phoenix compliance staff did note that it's very hard for them to be able to hold subrecipients accountable on a mere recommendation. To support Phoenix as a designated recipient, our suggestion is to set a threshold of attending 3 TAP meetings, providing the provider inventory, and also to include attending 2 training workshops. This would be a guideline that we would incorporate into the MAG internal review process. Zacchaeus, could you provide us a little, can you offer an overview of this?
Yes, thank you, Didi. Chair and members of the committee. As Didi mentioned, we have revised the approach that MAG will take in the evaluation process for the participation criteria, and we'll take in consideration not only the participations on our quarterly coordination meetings, the Transportation Ambassador Program meetings, but we'll also consider participation in workshops, focus groups, and trainings offered by us at the 5310 program. We understand that the nature of some of these workshops, trainings, and focus groups may not be relevant to all of applicants and subrecipients. So we are also considering the relevance of the workshops and trainings when we're doing the evaluation of our criteria to the applications of our subrecipients. Thank you, Didi.
Thank you, Zacchaeus. This would also help us to recognize those agencies who are attending all of our MAG coordination activities. We do have quite a few agencies that are attending all TAP meetings, providing all data requests, and attending a lot of our workshops and trainings. I do want to note that there is no federal guidelines that prohibit agencies with low performance from applying or being awarded, but has the application process becomes more competitive, as we have had in the past, this would provide more guidance in the ranking process. The points MAG and Phoenix provide during our internal review are offered to the committee as a tool, as you do in your evaluation materials to help you with the reviews. Are there any questions?
Any questions, anyone? All right, just from my side, when I first thought about this, I was like, I was a little concerned at first, but as I thought about it, and these are the recommendations coming from City of Phoenix, who is our designated recipient. And I think it makes a whole lot of sense now. I mean, especially, we're looking at what? 3 of the TAP meetings, we have what, 4, right, Didi? So the inventory, everyone has to do the inventory. That's a given. And the training workshops, and it's kind of like what Hezekiah was saying, we have quite a few of those training workshops throughout the year. So it's not saying you have only these 2 training workshops. We have what, 5, 6 training workshops per year on a variety of topics. Is that correct?
We have
Correct.
8 topics,
8
and
topics. There we go.
what Didi mentioned is that this year so far we had 16 sessions.
Yeah. So there we go. So I think this is still, a pretty reasonable bar to get to, set the expectations that, our nonprofits and those on this committee can, complete the inventory, which is going to be the same. Go to 2 of these training workshops and to, go to these 3 TAP meetings. And if you go above and beyond that, again, this is not us, but we have to evaluate. This is all done by, MAG and Phoenix staff evaluating that when we get these applications, correct? Yeah. See, I think this is a good way to try to get that coordination bar maybe moving a little higher, having a greater standard for our coordination efforts, because I think we do pride ourselves on having great coordination in this region, and I think this just kind of solidifies it a little more. So, all right, that's my soapbox. Is there any other comments from the committee? Any questions about it?
Chair, Lindsay has a raised hand.
Oh, Lindsay, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention, in my experience, having been a former 5310 program manager at ADOT, I do think it's also important to keep in mind that there's something to be said for the spirit of coordination, even when an agency doesn't have the resources to provide or to attend every single one. Sometimes organizations, and I haven't been able to familiarize myself completely with the agencies that are active within this region, but sometimes they're completely volunteer run, and so they're spread so thin that sometimes just having their shining faces show up is enough. It's just I do think there's something to be said for the spirit of coordination, and I think that these guidelines will help get us there, keeping in mind that it's an equity thing rather than an equality thing, I think.
Correct. Didi, do you want to talk to that a little bit about, some of the smaller organizations?
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. Definitely, it is about the spirit of coordination. We do have agencies that have over 100 vehicles, with staffing of over 100. And then we have smaller agencies that, especially the volunteer programs, that are working with possibly 2 or 3 staff people, and the majority volunteer programs with possibly 5 vehicles. So attending these meetings really helps with those coordination efforts. As I noted in the beginning, some of the issues that we were looking at, the catalytic converter, we're looking at advertising preventive maintenance, because that was such a under requested applicant request for this program. And we were able to develop these best practices and materials based on the comments from all of our stakeholders, whether they be from really big agencies to smaller agencies. They all had a voice in developing these strategies. So this is a way that we can further our cause in developing a coordinated and participatory effort with all of our agencies, the small and the larger agencies. And also, it is really vital that we do support our DR in helping to ensure that all of our agencies are meeting federal guidelines. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Didi. And I know we have a great partnership with, Phoenix, all the MAG staff, and, honestly, everyone on this committee. We definitely want to make sure that the region is meeting kind of like our goals of the program. And, Wendy, Steph Rangel, all the Phoenix staff, they do great work for this particular program. So do I have any other people for discussion here? Any other comments? And Dee Dee, I'll have you summarize kind of what we're going to do with the discussion items going forward.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. Again, this is for information, discussion, and action. To summarize, based on the committee's consensus, we are looking for approval to a motion to approve the EPDT ad hoc committee schedule for the 24 application process, approval to include the PWGA into the evaluation process, and outline the coordination participation threshold and include workshops and trainings in the applicant's coordination scores that is on MAG's internal review.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, Matt, but I'm not going to repeat everything Dee Dee said.
Come on, Phil. Yabas must do that. There must always be a Yabas on this committee, I'll tell you. Dee Dee, actually, have we received any comments from the public regarding this?
We have not received any comments.
Okay, so I have Phil calling for a motion to approve these recommendations. Do I have a second?
This is Stephanie. I'll second it.
All right, got a motion from Buckeye, a second from Phoenix. Any discussion? All right, hearing or seeing none. Dee Dee, can you do a roll call? Please respond with either yay or nay.
Tara Harmon, Pinal County.
Yay.
Thank you. Carolyn Ballard.
Yay.
Thank you. Vice Chair Calloway.
Yay.
Thank you. Chair Dudley.
Yay.
Thank you. Joan Freeman. With your microphone.
She's no longer in the meeting.
Oh, she's no longer here. Okay.
That doesn't mess up our quorum, does it?
No, but no chair.
No, we are over quorum,
Okay.
thankfully. Lindsay Post made the motion. No.
I did.
Oh,
I did
no.
make that
Yeah,
motion.
yes. Lindsay
Yay.
Post. Thank you. Nathan Williams.
Yay.
Thank you. Philip Yabes made the motion, and Tom Young.
Nancy Jackson has entered the meeting. If you want to also count her,
Okay.
and call her for the vote.
Okay. Nancy Jackson.
Yay. Sorry I was late.
Okay. Thank you. The motion passes, Chair.
All right. Thank you very much, Dee Dee. Let's move on. Nancy, just in time here. Requests for future agenda items. Are there any other requested topics or issues of interest to consider for any of our future agendas? Remember, our topics and issues that can be requested for future agendas, but not discussed.
Mr. Chair, this is Lindsay Post.
Lindsay, go ahead.
And it could be that I am a new member, but perhaps it's timely to consider the United Auto Workers strike, or maybe we've already discussed that, but that tends to have some ramifications for about 2 years after with available vehicles. So I don't know if anybody agrees that we can talk about that next time.
That is a great topic of discussion. Fantastic, Lindsay. Meg, can you make sure that gets on the future agenda items?
Chair William, sorry, Chair Dudley, I have it written down. Thank you.
All right. Any other requests from the committee?
Chair, this is David Calloway.
Go ahead, David.
All right. I was hoping we might be able to have maybe a presentation and discussion on the Mobility Manager program, just since we have a lot of new members on this committee, just have a kind of brief presentation of what the Mobility Manager program is and what their job functions are.
Okay. We can do that.
Duly noted.
All right. Any other requests? All right, no other request. We'll put those two agenda items on, for the next meeting. And let's move to agenda item number 9, which is for information only, and it's comments from the committee. Does anyone have an announcement they would like to make? Phil, no announcements from Buckeye?
No announcements from Buckeye. I'm sorry.
All right.
Unless you want to hear about Halloween.
Oh, hey, you know what? All right, any other comments?
Chair, this is Nancy.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Yeah, again, I apologize for being late. I think I was only about 10 minutes late, so I got to hear a good bulk of it. But I do want to just put it out in the universe that the city of Chandler is looking to hire a transportation coordinator. And so if anybody on this committee knows of anybody interested, it's posted on the chandleraz.gov website. I just wanted to put that out to some interested folks here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy. City of Chandler is a great city to work for, I've heard. All right. Any other comments? All right. All right, everyone. I'd like to thank you again, once again for coming to the meeting, especially as we're going into the 2024 application process. So we will have a little more applications to review, but we've done that before. With Krissa, we've had many more. So I don't think it's going to be that much more of a lift. And then with our constant refinement of our process, I think we are really kind of set up for success. Both, Mag and Phoenix, they do a lot of the legwork for us. So we just have to kind of go in there and just review these things, and we can get it done. So I really do look forward. Your participation does enable us to award these funds to, support a lot of these vital human transportation services that we have all over the region. So, all right, that is my soapbox there. If I have no other comments, we will go to the last item, which is adjournment. So I would like to adjourn this meeting. So thank you, everybody, for attending today.
Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Have a great day, everyone.
Mr. Chair, have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, everybody.